Welcome to another episode of Peak Signing Agents Podcast. I'm your host, Derek Van Otten, and I'm going to help you become a peak signing agent. And on this episode, we are going to be talking about mobile offices because, like I said, I'll be recording all my episodes from the back of my mobile office. I'll go into more details about my mobile office momentarily. But I do want to talk about the benefits of having a mobile office. And then I'll talk about why I created a mobile office. So the benefits of having a mobile office is that you are just easily accessible. You're easily ready to help your clients. So that means if they send you a last minute signing, you can easily print the documents. If you have scan backs to do, you can easily do the scan backs. So I know I've talked about doing an episode on the mobile office, but also there was recently a Facebook thread that I was on talking about why would you have a mobile office if you have direct clients? So I'll go into all of that information momentarily. So my mobile office is a little unique, and why I started the mobile office was because I just got so busy and last minute signings would come my way and I would either have to decline them because I didn't have time to go run back to home and print them, or I just would get annoyed or frustrated or stressed out because I was like, oh my gosh, I have to run back, I have to print, and I have to do scan backs on the previous signing that I did. There was just a lot of cause for it. So why I decided to do a mobile office was as I got busier, and that's what I recommend. If you think you're going to be busy or if you plan on being a full-time signing agent, I definitely recommend that you have some type of mobile office setup. Now, I know when I say mobile office, for most people, well, for everyone, what it means is in your personal vehicle that you drive to do your signings, in there you have a printer and scanner. All right, that's what it is. Mine just went to the extreme. We'll go into that in a little bit. So I was watching a video, and I'll put the description here. I know I've mentioned it too. Mark Wills, the owner of the loan signing system, he did a video with a signing agent named Connor. And Connor did almost like a tutorial on how he set up his mobile office, where he hardwired into his vehicle the printer and scanner. And I thought it was a great video, very informative video. I just wasn't sure if I wanted to hardwire that into my vehicle. I was like, I don't know if I want to do that. The other route you could take is you have an external battery. So I'll talk about both of these routes momentarily. So I didn't know if I wanted to do that. So for me, I thought what would be nice is what if I did an office space? So there's a lot of places where you can get those shared office spaces. So it's like a company that owns shared space. Okay, I'll just give a real life example. Mine was Regus, Regus. And I know there's multiple out there. That's just one that I used because I like the location of this one. Now where I'm at here in Utah, in a pretty close proximity, they have maybe 5 locations, Regus. I just chose one that I liked that was kind of central to where I live because I thought, what if I'm running on the freeway, running between counties? What if I have to run home? What if I'm not near my office, my title company? And I thought, it'd be nice to be able to just stop somewhere and print. And also, I would call somebody to confirm the appointment, and they didn't want me coming over. They thought, I don't really want a stranger coming to my house, or I don't really want to go to a title company, or I also don't want to go somewhere public like a coffee shop or restaurant and people hear my information. So they would even ask me, do you have an office that we can meet at? And I would always say, no, unfortunately I don't. But then I like the idea that with this office space, now I could say, yeah, I've got a place we can sign at, or I can run and quickly do scan backs. So in this little office space, it was a very small office space. Okay, it was very small. They provided the furniture, and so they gave me 2 tables. So I kind of made like an L-shaped desk out of it, and they gave me a chair, and then they gave me 2 other chairs, so in case some signers were coming in. So they provided that. What I provided was all the equipment that I needed. So at my home office, I've got a printer and scanner and paper and toner and pens and supplies. I did all that. In this extra office space, I also did that. So I had to buy like a little router so that I had internet, just so I could have my private internet and not share it with the. So like Regis, for example, they had like a public Wi-Fi that anyone could connect to, and I didn't want anyone just connecting or being able to hack into. So I bought like a small little router for the small little space that I had. And I had a printer and scanner and paper and toner and pens and just all the supplies that I needed to run my signing service or my mobile notary work. So I had all that at this extra office, and it was very beneficial. I was paying, I think, like $350 a month for it. And for me, I just liked the convenience. For me, I'll pay for convenience. I'll pay for good service. I'll pay for convenience. And that's what I was doing here. I thought, if I can just do like 2 or 3 signings, that extra, like last minute, if I can just do like 2 or 3 extra last minute, that kind of covers this. And then anything else I pick up last minute is just, extra money for me. And I pick up last minute signings all the time. All the time I pick up last minute signings. So for me, this was just a great location that I could just use to print and scan, and just a place where people can come meet me that's more private and sign. So that was very beneficial, but COVID hit. And the building that Regis was in was a 4-story building. And they just took up, I think, the 3rd floor. The 3rd floor was all theirs. And then they had other 3 floors. But if one person got COVID in this building, it could shut down the whole building, which it did a couple times. Because again, we were unknown. It was just kind of scary. We didn't really know what was going on with COVID. So they shut the whole building down. So I couldn't even get into my office. So it became a point where I started thinking, what's the point then? What would be the point of having this office space if I can't even get into it sometimes? So I didn't like that. And I started thinking, it'd be so nice to always have my mobile office with me. So then the idea started kind of brewing in my mind. I started thinking of that video that Mark and Connor did about customizing. I still didn't really want to do that though. And then I started thinking, I remember I did a signing for a lady who was a pet groomer, and she was a mobile pet groomer. So she had a customized van with like water hookup and power and everything like that. So basically her clients would hire her to be her pet groomer. She would drive to their house, park in their driveway. They bring their dog to her van, and she would work right there. So she was close by. So her clients didn't have to go far. They didn't have to like drive to a groomer. The groomer came to them. It was out in their driveway, so they can just go pick up the dog when it was ready. It was just convenient. And I started noticing other businesses like electricians and HVAC workers. They had, and even like alarm system installers. They had these customized vehicles for their business. So I started Googling the idea of a mobile office, like not a mobile office like you think of as signing agents where you just have a printer and scanner inside your car. But I started thinking, like, what if I had a legitimate office inside of a van? So I started Googling that, and I would see psychiatrists and realtors and attorneys, and they would have these mobile offices. They had customized these big vans, and they would put like office space inside. They would mount a desk, and they would have a chair, and they had all these things inside of their mobile office. So I started getting the idea. But they were using these big vans, like those big vans that you see Amazon driving, delivering packages, like these big Mercedes Sprinter vans. So I just was kind of looking into that. I thought, I can get this big van and customize it, and I can walk around in this office space. But when I was looking at customizing it, it was getting pretty heavy. Like the price of a brand new van was, I think, around $40,000, and then the price to customize it was like another $40,000. And I was like, I don't know if I want to do that. There's a lot of van customization shops that do this type of work, especially where I live here in Utah. A lot of people like to go camping and biking and hiking. And so there's a lot of these companies that will customize vans like this. So the ideas were brewing in my head, and I thought, I went to go check out the Mercedes vans. And then the dealer told me that they make smaller vans. I was like, oh, show me these smaller vans. So Mercedes also makes these like minivans. And I thought, what if I can kind of work with this? So the ideas were brewing in my head, and I was talking to the van customization shop, and they were giving me more ideas, and that's when it kind of went into work. And I said, let's do it. I want to be different, because I would do these signings. Again, this was a lot during COVID time, and they didn't want to go to the title company, but they didn't really want you in their house either. So we would be in garages, and it's 90 degrees in the garage in the summer. Or we go on like a park bench, and it's 30 degrees and it's windy and it's freezing and we're cold and we're trying to put rocks and cell phones on the paper as paperweight. And I just was like, this is not convenient. I want to be convenient. And I thought also this would be a great selling point. Like if I had a mobile office, this is a great selling point. So if if you have a mobile office, make sure that you are using that as a selling point of why the title company should be using you. Or even the signing services, put that in your bio. I have a mobile office. I can print on the fly. Because as you probably have maybe experienced, or you will experience, things change. Numbers change. A payoff changes. A cash out changes. And you're driving there, excuse me, you're driving to the signing and you get an email, hey, sorry to bug you last minute, but things have changed and we're going to send you new documents. Can you print them? Do you know how much value you bring if you say, yes, no problem, I can print that for you? You bring so much more value to your customer. You are bringing peak service if you can print on the fly. Or if they're like, hey, we're not sure if you're going to make cutoff time for FedEx. Can you just do a quick scan back for us? Or, we know you're driving like an hour away. It'll take you like another hour to drive back. Can you do a quick scan back for us so we can like work on this in the meantime? And you have a mobile printer, a scanner with you. You are providing peak service to your clients. It's so important. So make sure if you do have that you use as a pitching tool. Well, that's what I wanted to do as well with my mobile office. I wanted to say, hey, I've got a mobile office. Not only can I print and scan immediately, but if you have a signer who's maybe moving and they don't have furniture to sit down at, or they don't want me in their house, because even we're kind of, I don't know where you're at, but here in Utah, we're kind of post-COVID at this point. We don't really have mask mandates. People are kind of walking around, getting close to each other like normal. But still, people are still not comfortable. Some people aren't. They don't want you in their house. And I can just say, hey, come into my office. So when people ask me, hey, this is a cool gig you got. You're a mobile notary. Where's your office located? And I always make the joke, parked in your driveway. And so it just brings another great value. People don't want to go into coffee shops. They want the privacy. They don't want you in their home. Maybe their house is messy. They're like, hey, my house is kind of messy. I'm kind of embarrassed for you to come in. No problem. Come out to my mobile office. Or, hey, the kids are sleeping. I don't really want to wake them up. Is there somewhere, can we sign outside? Yeah, sure. Hop in my mobile office. We're buying, we're selling, we're moving. We don't have any furniture. No problem. Hop in my mobile office. So that's what I wanted. Again, I thought about how can I bring peak service to my clients. And I thought having a mobile office will do that. So what we did is I got a Mercedes Metris. Okay, so it's the minivan version that Mercedes creates. Why did I go with this van in particular? I'm going to be totally honest with you guys. It's a selling point. I could have got a Honda. I could have got a Chrysler. I don't know what vans models are out there, but I could have gotten any of these. The only reason why I went with the Mercedes is purely for promotional, is purely just to market, to be honest with you. I don't have a lot of experience with vans, so I don't know how this holds up. I mean, I'm happy with my van. I think it runs great on gas, 4-cylinder. But it's purely to tell my customers, I have a customized Mercedes van if it helps benefit your clients. It's purely for marketing, to be honest with you. There's no reason why I got a Mercedes other than that. And, it didn't break the wallet for me. I mean, for me, I thought it was great. It was 1 year old. So I bought this in 2020 and it was a 2019. And by the time it was done customized, I got it back in 2021, at the beginning of 2021. And there's no other reason. And I got a customized vanity license plate. It says notary. So it's purely promotional, to be honest with you. It's purely promotional. I got decals on the side of the van that says my signing service, and it says notary service on it. So basically it says peak signing notary service. That's what it says. So if I'm driving around and people notice it, they think, oh, great. It actually says peaksigning.com notary service. And they know they can go and find me and they can hire me to do mobile notary work or loan signings. And it lets people know what I do. So when I'm meeting somebody, they say, okay, great. Hey, I'm going to pull up. I'm easy to spot. I'll be in a black Mercedes van with the license plate notary. I'm easy to find. It is purely promotional. I just want people to easily find me. I want title companies to, when I show them, I'm like, hey, can I show you my mobile office if it helps benefit your clients? They come out, they see it's a Mercedes, they see the license plate says notary, they see my logo on the side of the van, and they're like, oh, great, it's easy to know what this guy does, what he provides for my clients. It's easy to spot. You can't mistake it. That's why I do what I do, to be honest. That's why I created it the way I created it. And so what we did is we took out, so you think of a van, you think there's seats in the front, then there's a middle bench and a rear bench, okay? The 2 seats in the front, we put them on swivels. So I could swivel them around and turn around so I can be facing people in the back. The middle bench, we removed it. We totally took that out. And we installed a table. So now we have a place to sign the documents, or if I'm by myself, like I'm trying to find a notary in another state, I can come back here, pull up my laptop and work away or send emails or whatever. I have a desk basically to do all the work. And then in the back, we left the rear bench. We left that alone. Then in the very back, if you've ever seen a van, in the very back, there's not a lot of office, or there's not a lot of space in the back of a van. There's not much space in there. So what we did is I had this customized shop. They created a cubby system. And there's 4 like cubby holes with doors on them that shut, so the thing falls out. But there's a 4-door cubby system that I can put supplies in there. So what do I have in the back of my mobile office? Let me share with you. So in one of the drawers, I have just purely paper, legal and letter size paper. The other drawer, it's backup toner and face masks. So that way if anybody comes in here and they want to wear a mask, I have masks provided for them. I have hand sanitizer back here as well. So if you're watching on YouTube, you'll kind of see it. In the cup holders, I got this little, it's a little cup. And inside I put pens and hand sanitizer. And that's on both sides of the bench back here. So in the back of the van, there's pens and hand sanitizer and face masks, backup toner, backup drum for my printer. What else is there? Lots of pens, lots of clips, binder clips, paper clips, rubber bands, scissors, tape, scotch tape, just like a lot of miscellaneous things. Basically what I would have at my home office, I have here. So I'm ready to go at any time. It's an office, okay? I know we're saying it's a mobile office, it's a van, it's an office space. That's how I treat this. I treat this as an office space. So I have all my supplies that I could ever need at home here with me. And that's all here. Also in the very back is battery and an inverter. Okay, so we're gonna go into more details about that. But that's what's in my mobile office. And I drive this all day long. And I'm so glad I went with the minivan version instead of those big sprinters, because I don't know how I would be able to drive that all day long. Those things are pretty big. I wouldn't want to drive that all day long. Maybe one day when I get to my signing service making me like $2 million a year, I'll just pay someone to drive me, maybe, and I'll just be in the back. That'd be nice. But I'm not at that point yet, so that's not the plan for now. So anyway, this has greatly benefited me because it brings me so much convenience. And it brings so much more convenience to my clients. Again, I'm going to reiterate this. Having a mobile office just brings so much more power to market yourself. Again, I'm the only one that has done this, okay? To my knowledge, I am the only one in signing agent history to ever customize a vehicle into a legitimate mobile office. Because when you hear mobile office, you're just thinking it's a printer and scanner on wheels. Mine's a legitimate office. I have Wi-Fi back there. Actually, I have a Wi-Fi router through my cell phone provider that I just flip on the power, and I've got internet. And in fact, everything I'm recording on, everything I'm working with right here in the back of the office is all powered through the mobile office and through the Wi-Fi that the mobile office provides. So that's what it's providing here. I just want to be convenient. I just want to make my life easier and make the life of my clients easier. Now, if you're thinking about doing a mobile office, definitely, I know I'm the only one that's done this, and I know a lot of people don't think about doing it and how much have I customized to do this. So what I've done, just so you kind of know the amount I've paid. Again, I already had a second office location with supplies. So I had already bought a second printer and a second scanner and paper and all that stuff. I already had all that stuff. So just the customization for the van, what we've done is we installed a table, again in the middle. We put the front seats on swivels. The original audio deck that was installed on here by Mercedes was really terrible. So I replaced it with something else. It provides Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Amazon Alexa, all that stuff. That's all built into the one that I've got in my dash now. I just like the convenience so that I could get notifications. I can respond through Bluetooth. If I get like a text or an email, I can just respond by voice. It's just a lot safer in my opinion. My GPS is right there now on the dash instead of using my phone. So I did that, put the front seats on swivel, replaced with a desk. We put a desk or table in the middle, and in the back they customize a 4 cubby system, and they customize a slot for my printer. So my printer's not moving all over the place. It fits snugly in the cubby. So they customized that for me. They installed a inverter and battery system. So this is how mine's hardwired. Again, I'm going to put a link in the description of the podcast, whether you're on YouTube or in the podcast platform, that will show you the video that Mark did with Connor on how to install these into your vehicle. But what the van customization shop did was they hardwired to my van's battery. It runs along the back to the back. It goes into like an inverter that powers, and it also comes from the van's alternator as well. It powers a battery. Okay, and it looks just like a car battery. It powers that battery, so that's what we paid for. Then that powers an inverter. The inverter is where I get the power for my printer and scanner, and we're gonna go into more details about this, like specifics. So that's how it works. So if I'm gonna work it backwards now, my printer and scanner are plugged into an inverter. The inverter is powered by a second battery. That battery is powered by the van's battery and alternator. Okay, so I just kind of worked backwards on that. I'll work forwards again. The van's battery and alternator power a second battery that's in the back. That battery provides power to the inverter. That inverter is what is plugged in, was where my printer and scanner are plugged into. Okay, so I just kind of worked it from front to back to front. Hopefully you guys kind of got that. I know it's kind of confusing. Again, I'll link that video. But also, if you're thinking about doing what I've done, I do recommend having professionals do it. This van customization shop, they have electricians, they have all sorts of people that work there, and they just did everything for me. So all the parts, all the installs, all the labor, all of that has cost me $5,000, just to kind of give you an idea price-wise, about $5,000 to $6,000. That's how much everything cost me. All right, so if you're thinking about doing what I've done, that was the price. So not only did I buy the van, but it was about another $5,000 to $6,000 in customizations that I paid for. Again, for me, it was convenience. I make a good income doing this, and so I'm fortunately that I cash flowed it all. I was able to just pay for it out of the earnings from my business, from the signings that I've done. So just kind of give you an idea of what's in my mobile office and how much I've paid to do it. And I'll also link a YouTube video where Mark Wills flew here to Utah to do a special video on my mobile office. So you can kind of see all the details. So I'm going to link 2 videos in the podcast or the YouTube channel here that you're watching. One of it is going to be Mark Wills from the Loan Signing System and Connor Brown, and how they help kind of teach you how to hardwire a mobile office. And the second video will be Mark Wills coming out here and shooting my mobile office. You'll see videos from the outside, from the rear with all the supplies, and then on the interior you'll see clips in that video from the interior of how it kind of looks. So the cameraman is sitting on the bench. Mark and I are sitting on the front seats that are swiveled. You kind of get an idea of how I did it. For me, it's so beneficial. It just provides great service for my clients, provides a great convenience to me as a entrepreneur who's busy all the time. It just brings a lot of convenience. So saying that does bring up another point. I do carry 2 bags with me at all times. My one bag is obviously my notary bag, which I carry the documents in. I carry my stamp, my pens, all the tools I need to be a mobile notary. That's all in my notary bag. Then I have a personal bag. That's my bag, and maybe I'll do videos on these in a future episode of what I carry in my bags. But in that bag is where I keep like my laptop. So I have my laptop there. That way when I have to work or I get last minute signings, I can print there. It's a lot easier to print from a laptop than it is from like a tablet or phone. It's a lot easier to print in my opinion. A lot easier to kind of control everything. However, what's really convenient is that because I have a Wi-Fi in the mobile office, I have Wi-Fi, and my printer has AirPrint capabilities. If I'm driving and then, for example, my client says, "Oh, hey, Derek, I'm so sorry, but some of the numbers changed. I have a new settlement statement and new closing disclosure. Can you replace that? Is that okay? Is that a problem for you?" I say, "No problem. I got you covered." I can easily just from my phone, I can open up the email and hit print, and it'll print. So when I arrive, I just run to the back and grab it. That's a convenience as well. So again, there's so much convenience about having your mobile office. Where I told you I got into this Facebook thread. What's the point? Maybe you have a direct client, and they have documents for you that you go pick up. Why would I need a mobile office? Well, I'll tell you why. I'm not always around the title company. I'm not always around my title companies. They're kind of centralized in a section where there's a lot of my customers in one big group. So there's convenience where I can just drive to this one area, and like about 4 or 5 of my clients are in these office buildings that are really close to each other. They're like walking distance, really. And there's times where I can just drive there, pick up all the documents I need for the day or the day before, and when I'm done, I can just drive back and just drop them all off right after the other. It's very convenient for that. But there's times where I'm not in that area, or maybe I'm in another county. And so what I've done is I've kind of trained my clients to let me know when the documents are ready, and I give them the option. So basically they say, "Hey, Derek, the documents are ready. Do you want to pick them up, or do you want me to email them to you?" Because if I'm home, it's a lot more cost efficient and time efficient for me to just print at home. Because really with a laser printer and toner, it doesn't cost a lot of money for the paper and toner per package. It doesn't cost a lot of money. It's cheaper than for me to spend gas to drive and pick it up. So that's kind of like, what's more cost efficient? Is it more cost efficient for me to print, or is it more cost efficient for me to drive? Because maybe I'm going to one of my other title companies and they say, "Oh, it's ready." Great, I can pick it up when I'm over there. Or I'm doing signings in the area of where my title companies are, and it's like, "Oh, great, I can do that for you." I can just go pick it up when I'm done with this next signing. I can just go pick it up. But I have some clients who are out of state. I have some clients who are in counties that are 3 or 4 hours away. I always have to have them email it to me. All right. So they might just say, "Hey, Derek, sorry to hit you up like this, but I have a last minute signing. Do you have time to squeeze this in your schedule today?" "Hey, no problem. Send it over. I can just print it right from the mobile office. It's not a big deal." I might be in that area. So for example, where I live in Salt Lake County. Let's just say I'm doing a signing in Utah County, one county over, not too bad, not too far away. I'm doing a signing in that other county. And then one of my clients hits me up and says, "Hey, Derek, can you do this signing in that, in this other county, Utah County?" And I say, "Hey, actually, I'm here now. Send it on over. I can print it out, see if they're available while I'm out here. I can maybe go do this right now while I'm out here." That's the convenience. Are you guys listening to this? Are you guys kind of imagining when you can benefit from a mobile office? That's why it's important. That's why I think if you're going to be a full-time signing agent, if you're going to market directly and get business direct, I think it's important. It's almost essential to have a mobile office in your vehicle. Again, you don't need to go the route that I did. I like to be different, I guess, or I'm really willing to pay for convenience, I guess. I don't know. But I do highly recommend that you get a mobile office setup if you plan on doing this full time, or if you plan on providing a peak experience for your clients. You definitely should have a mobile office. Now, if you don't want a hardwire, you can get an external battery. Let me give you a tip real quick about these batteries. If you're hardwiring to your vehicle's battery and alternator, when you get the inverter, make sure it is pure sine. When I say sine, it's spelled S-I-N-E. I don't know if I'm even saying that right, but it's pure sine. That's important. If it's not pure, it's not going to work. It's going to trigger off. It's also important to get the right wattage. So these laser printers, I don't know about you guys, but when I set them, when I start printing, if I'm at home, it dims my lights. So I actually don't print with the lights on. So if it's in the daytime, I have the blinds open for sunlight to come in. But if it's at night that I'm printing, I have lamps that I use, because it will dim my lights in my office. And it has even triggered the breaker, where the breaker shut off. I had to go back and flip the breaker on. So these laser printers take up a lot of power on the startup. Once they're printing, they're fine, but on the startup of the print job, they consume a lot of power. I believe the printer, I use a Brother dual tray printer. I think the model I use is 5200 or 6200. But anyway, on the startup, they use over 2000 watts on the startup. And then once it's going, it runs around like 1500 watts. So if you're looking at like the specifics of your printer, you might say, oh, it runs off 1500 watts. I'll get a 1500 watt inverter or battery, or a 2000. It's not going to work, because it gets over 2000 on the startup. So what I recommend is, if you're going to get an inverter that's hardwired to your vehicle, make sure it's pure sine. Make sure it's 2500 to 3000 watts minimum. Okay, that's the minimum. You can go higher, but it might consume a lot of your battery power. Some pros to that, to having a hardwire, is that you don't have to worry about it. It's being powered by your vehicle. So that's kind of nice. It's kind of already being powered already there. Some negatives is it could kill your battery faster. And I don't know about how much batteries cost. I know for my Mercedes van, the battery is about $75 for a battery. So I might have to replace it maybe like a year earlier than normal, or maybe 6 months earlier than normal. But that's okay. Again, the convenience for me is well worth it. Now, if you don't want to go that route, then you want to get an external battery. I know, for example, like Duracell creates batteries that you put in your AA, AAAs, but they also create these big external batteries, and they're almost like, it's almost like a generator. So you can charge devices or whatever on. And so you can buy these external batteries. Again, you want to make sure it's about 3000 watts. And it's, I just spaced the name of it, but there's a specific one you want to make sure. I think it's like full cycle, dual cycle, full cycle. I can't remember. So me saying that, hopefully when you look into it, you'll remember, like, oh, okay, that's what he was talking about. There's got to be some type of like full cycle, dual cycle. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but anyway, it's got to be that type of external battery. And when you're ready, you just flip it on. So you have to charge externally. So if you've got for example, if you park your car in the garage and you have an outlet in your garage, and you can just kind of plug it in there, give it a full charge. So when you're ready, just flip it on. If you need to print like last minute, just flip it on and then do the printing or scanning you need to do, and then flip it off. If you had a busy day where you're doing a lot of last minute scanning or printing, at the end of the day, you probably have to take it out and charge it. And they're pretty good size. I mean, they're probably, the ones I've seen are maybe, they're rectangular. They're rectangular cubes. And so they're maybe like 2.5 feet long, maybe 1.5 feet wide. So they're good size. They might even be like 50 pounds. I think I've seen when I looked into it, I think they were like 40 or 50 pounds. But you're not hardwiring into your vehicle. Only if you've used it, if you had a busy day, then you'll need to pull it out and recharge it. Other than that, you'd probably be fine just leaving it in the back of your vehicle. If you didn't have any last minute signings for a couple days, it'll probably just be fine sitting back there with the power off. And then when you need it, flip it on. So those are just kind of two routes you can go. You can either hardwire into your vehicle or get an external battery. Those are basically your two choices. I know some people that are, not full time, but they do have a lot of scan backs. One great tip that you could do is get one of those get like a portable scanner. Some of those portable scanners, they work off just being recharged. So you can just, have it recharged. Or you can get like a small inverter for your vehicle that kind of plugs into the cigarette lighter. I don't know if we even call them cigarette lighters anymore. Like the 12 volt in, maybe you plug your phone charger in your vehicle. There's little inverters that you can plug into that. And then you can plug like the little scanner into that. So, all right, let me work it front to back again. So you have like this little inverter that's for your vehicle, like a 12 volt inverter. It plugs into the cigarette lighter or the cell phone charger of your vehicle, and that has a little outlet. Then you plug the scanner into that inverter, and now you have power to your scanner, because the scanner is not going to take up a lot of power. This definitely wouldn't work with a laser printer, but it would definitely work with like a scanner. So some people, you can have like a little scanner, and so you can do scan backs, and I'm worried about running back home. I definitely would recommend that. Or you get those scanners that that are rechargeable, so you just charge it up in the beginning of the day or at the end of the night, and for your next day they're ready to go. So that's an option you can do for like a portable scanner to have. I think that's important, because a lot of signing services want scan backs, and in fact I'll do another video of why they want scan backs. I'll go into more detail of why, not just the obvious, but I'll go into more detail why signing services want scan backs on a future episode. I do see a lot of mobile offices that they carry like a little table and chair in the back of their vehicle, like folding table and chair. I think that's a great idea. I thought about going that route as well. If I got a mobile office, I thought about maybe in the trunk, I would put like a card table, basically like a small little card table, and a couple folding chairs that we can sign with. So if we go somewhere, boom, let's sign on the hood of the car or on the tailgate of a truck. No, thank you. That's dirty. Boom, here's a folding table. Or you go to someone's house and they don't have, maybe they're a hoarder and there's not a lot of room. Their table's filled with newspapers and groceries. I've seen some weird things, all right? But maybe that's a situation where they don't have a place for you to sign. Hey, great, let me run out to my vehicle real quick and grab a table. I got a table for us. No problem. Those are, again, ways that you can provide peak service. Now, I just mentioned having in the trunk, you could have your like a table and chairs, but let's talk about trunk space, because a lot of people put in their mobile office in the trunk, they put the scanner and printer. Some put it on the back seat. So these are some more tips and recommendations I have for you. Tint your vehicle. Make sure your windows are tinted. All right, you don't need to go illegal, but just make sure they're tinted, because that helps block out some of the sun in the summertime. This is what happens, okay? In the winter, it might get really cold, and you know how electronics are in the winter. When it's cold, they're like a little slow moving. But also when it's 90, 100 degrees outside, they could fry. So they have automatic kill switches built in so that they don't overheat. So they automatically will shut off. So here's some things to combat that. Maybe in the trunk is not the best way or location to store your mobile printer or scanner. The trunk might not be the best place. Maybe the back seat is best. But again, you want your windows tinted to block out some of the sun, but also blocks out people peeking in and looking that there's an expensive laser printer back here. Prevents break-ins. So that's also the benefit for the tinted windows. So to block out the sun, block out the heat, and stop thieves from breaking in. What's nice about having it exposed, like what I mean is like having it exposed on the back seat. So again, some people have it on the back seat. Some have SUVs or vans. The convenience is that it's exposed to your air conditioner and heater. That's the benefit too. That's another reason why I wanted the van. I didn't want a trunk, because I knew it would probably overheat the printer. So why I like the van or an SUV is that it's exposed to the entire vehicle. So as you run your heater or as you run your air conditioner, the whole vehicle is getting that. If it's in the trunk, it's not getting the heater or air conditioner if it's in the trunk. You know what I mean? So that's another reason why I chose a van. I like the idea that it was gonna feel the heater, it was gonna feel the air conditioner, so it would warm up. So every morning when I get into my mobile office, I don't flip the power on right away. I let the vehicle kind of, or the printer and scanner kind of accommodate or accumulate. Oh gosh, I screwed up that word. I tried to combine too many words into one. You know where I'm going with that word. What I'm trying to do is let it adjust to the temperature of the vehicle. So if it's cold, I turn the heater on, I get the vehicle interior warmed up. That will then warm up my printer and scanner and inverter and battery. If it's hot, let the air conditioner do its work. Now, if it's hot, if it's summertime and you're going to signings and you're in your signing for 20, 30, 40 minutes, the vehicle, as you know, gets warm because of the heat. And so one thing that I've done is I bought a little fan, like a little desk fan that kind of clips. It can clip to your desk. One of those, if you know what I'm talking about. And I've clipped it to like my little cubby station, and I have the fan on. So basically when it's summertime and I'm pretty busy, I will turn that fan on and I'll just let it sit and just hit the printer. Because what has happened is where my printer will stop printing and it'll say it needs to cool down. And when it cools down, then it'll fire back up. So one thing you can do is I actually just totally turn it off, just because obviously when it's on, it's still going to use a little bit more power. So I will totally turn off my printer if that happens in the summer. Totally turn it off and kind of leave like the doors open or have the air conditioner on it so it kind of cools. So it cools it down. But overall, I haven't had a lot of bad issues. I know that's also a common question is, hey, how does temperature affect it? So I've had my mobile office for 1.5 years now. And again, I live in Utah. So in the winter, it gets below freezing. And in the summer, it gets to triple digits sometimes here because we are in a desert and we are in a valley and we are in the mountain range area. So I get all 4 seasons here. Obviously, the best time it runs like a champ is spring and fall because it's perfect temperature. It's like 70 degrees and it's perfect temperature. So those are kind of things that I've done to combat it. Another thing, a little tip that I've done too, is because I carry paper and I have it in a little cubby. Sometimes I notice in the wintertime, the paper kind of, one day I noticed it kind of felt a little moist. You know what I mean? So it kind of felt a little heavier, like maybe there was getting some moisture in there. So what I did is, you ever buy something like an electronic or clothing and have those little silica gel packets and it has like those little silica little balls in it? I actually threw a couple of those in my cubby where my paper is, and that kind of helped. So there's actually a little tip for you as well. If you're storing paper in a like, I know some people, they have in their mobile office, in their trunk, they have a little crate that they put the paper in, and maybe throw a couple of little silica packets in there, and that will kind of help take out some of the moisture so that your paper doesn't get like wet or damaged. So that's a little extra tip for you as well. Anyway, I hope I answered all your questions about mobile office. What's the benefit? What you need? What tools and supplies you'll need in the mobile office. I hope that kind of helps you. If you're going a small, simple route, what supplies you'll need? Obviously, get a printer and scanner, have paper, have backup toner and drum, because you never know when you're going to run out. There's no point of having a backup or mobile printer and then you start printing and you're out of ink or out of toner. So definitely carry extra with you. Carry extra pens, paper clips, binder clips, so you can clip it all together. Those are just the basics that you would need. All right. So anyway, again, hope this provides value. In the description, I will put 2 links: the link of how to hardwire and the link of my mobile office. So you can kind of check out a video that Mark did when he came out here and checked it out. So, hey, anyway, I think it'll provide great service for your clients. It'll provide great convenience for you to have a mobile office, especially if you plan on being full-time. All right. Thanks again for watching and listening to another episode of the Peak Signing Agents podcast.